In 1988, a widow named Ruth Hadley lived alone in Marietta, Ohio, on $561 a month from Social Security. She owned her home outright. She kept the heat at 64 all winter. She ate 3 meals a day, every day, and never once went to bed hungry. And every birthday, she slipped a crisp $10 bill into a card for each of her 6 grandchildren. Her neighbors assumed she had a pension. She did not. What she had were rules. Depression-era rules her mother drilled into her before she turned 10. She wrote none of them down. She did not need to. By the time she was old, they were not decisions anymore. They were reflexes, and when she died, they died with her. They managed money differently, not with apps or advisors, but with habits carved in by hard years. Those habits kept a single person fed, warm and free, long after the paycheck stopped coming. We buried every one of them the moment autopay made forgetting easy. This was not budgeting. This was survival arithmetic, for one. Every dollar had a job before it arrived. Every purchase was weighed against next month's heat and next week's bread. Then we called it old-fashioned, and we traded it for debt we are still carrying. Number 19 on this list saved a senior more than $300 in a single winter, and it cost nothing to start. Number 8 looks like a child's habit, the kind a grown adult is embarrassed to admit. A retired banker confessed in 2018 that he never stopped doing it. And number 3, the one rule that kept more seniors living alone out of debt than any government program ever written was passed down in a single sentence. Most of these have been forgotten, buried under convenience. We are about to dig them back up. These 25 tricks were not about being cheap. They were about never being helpless. They were the difference between a senior who weathered a surprise medical bill and one who lost the house over it. They were dignity, spelled out in dollars and cents. The generation that lived them never called themselves frugal. They called it being careful. Then the world decided careful was the same thing as poor. Hit that subscribe button. Let us count down the 25 buried poor man money tricks seniors living alone need to remember before it's too late. Number 25, the senior discount map. The savings hiding in plain sight. You learned which store gave the senior discount on which day and shopped accordingly. Tuesday at the pharmacy, Wednesday at the grocery. On a fixed check, that was $20 a month back in your pocket. A widow in Toledo planned her whole week around those days. By the 1980s, nearly every chain offered the discount, and almost no one claimed it. The discount was already yours. You only had to ask. Number 24, the one-pot meal. Dinner that cooked for days. A pot of beans, a ham bone, an onion, a pound of rice. It fed one person a week for under $3. Living alone, cooking small was the trap. Small portions wasted gas, wasted scraps, wasted everything. Depression kitchens ran on one big pot for exactly this reason. A neighbor cooked fresh each night and spent triple. The pot was not leftovers. It was a week of meals that already knew what they were. Number 23, use it up. The habit that touched everything. The soap sliver pressed into the new bar while both were wet. The ketchup bottle was rinsed with vinegar and poured out. The bread heel turned to crumbs. Nothing was finished until it was truly gone. Across 100 small things, it saved $30 a year for free. Women who came up in the 30s could not physically throw out what still had a use. It was not hoarding. It was a refusal to pay twice for one thing. Number 22, the 2-day rule. The weight that killed the want. Before you bought anything that was not food, rent, or medicine, you waited 2 days. If you still wanted it after 48 hours, you bought it. If you had forgotten, you had your answer. A man alone in Erie counted $90 in a year of things he never went back for. The want was loud on day 1. By day 2, it had gone quiet. The trick was not willpower. It was time, and time cost nothing. Number 21, the library card. The free thing nobody used. Books, magazines, movies, even tools and seeds in some towns. All free and all returned. A senior who read 3 books a month saved over $100 a year. For someone living alone, the library was warmth, company, and somewhere to be on a cold afternoon. Carnegie built 2,000 of them so working people would never have to buy a book. It cost nothing to join and never charged interest. The card in the drawer was the cheapest company in America. Number 20, the dry goods stockpile. Buying the year at the bottom price. When flour or beans hit their lowest, you bought the 25-pound sack, not the small box. A sack at $4 beat buying the same flour for $6 across a year. The pantry fed her for months while prices climbed back. Country families stocked the cellar every fall before a single frost. She did not hoard. She bought cheap and ate slow. The full shelf was a bank that paid in food. Number 19, the single warm room, the house she only half heated. You closed the vents in every room but one. The kitchen stayed warm. The rest went cold, and you let it. A whole house furnace cost her neighbor $110 a month that winter. Hers ran $40, saving over $300 across the season. Folks who survived Depression winters never heated an empty room. The warm kitchen was where she lived, ate, and slept by the stove. She was not too poor to heat the house. She was too smart to heat rooms no one stood in. Number 18, the price book. The memory that beat every sale sign. In a small notebook, you wrote what each thing truly cost at each store. Coffee here, eggs there. When a sign screamed sale, you checked the book and knew the truth. A senior with a price book never paid 40 cents more because a sticker was yellow. Thrifty housewives kept these long before any app counted a penny. The store counted on you forgetting. The book made sure you never did. It was a sale only when the book agreed. Number 17, make do and mend. The repair that beat the purchase. A loose button got sewn. A leaking faucet took a 10-cent washer. A worn coat got a new lining, not a new coat. A senior who fixed small things spent $5 a year where a neighbor spent $50. The government printed those 4 words on posters through the war, and the generation never unlearned them. The world learned to replace. They knew how to repair. One paid twice, the other paid once, and kept the coat for 20 years. Here is what nobody says out loud. Nearly half of Americans over 65 who live alone lean on Social Security for almost everything they have. Not because they failed. Somewhere along the way, we stopped teaching people how to manage less and started selling them ways to pretend less did not exist. Credit cards, reverse mortgages, buy now, pay later, at 70 years old, all of it built to make the old habits feel useless. But the envelope never called at dinner about a missed payment. It never raised the rate. It sat in the drawer and told the truth. Number 16, the container garden. A grocery aisle on the windowsill. 3 pots of tomatoes, a box of herbs, a bucket of lettuce on the back step. A senior with no land still grew $20 of produce a summer from a few bags of soil. During the war, 20 million such gardens fed the country from porches and lots. The food was fresher, and the picking was a reason to rise. She did not farm. She gardened a windowsill. And the windowsill paid her back all summer. Number 15, cook double, freeze half. The stove run once, the meals run twice. When you cooked double, and the freezer held the rest in labeled tubs. One pot of soup became 6 dinners, and the gas was paid for once, $1 of fuel doing the work of 6. On a hard day, supper was already waiting. Home freezers spread through kitchens in the 50s for exactly this. It was not extra work, it was the same work, done once instead of 7 times. Number 14, the cash envelope. The budget that needed no math. On the day the check came, you cashed it and split the money into labeled envelopes. Rent, groceries, heat, medicine, savings. A widow on $600 a month gave every dollar a job before one was spent. When the grocery envelope was empty, you stopped. No overdraft, no card. Working families ran on envelopes long before banks wanted their cash. The envelope could not be argued with. When it was empty, it was empty. The envelope never lied. Number 13, the grocery list. The page that ran the store, not you. You wrote the list at home, and you bought the list. Nothing more, and you never shopped hungry. A senior with no list spent $15 on things she did not need and forgot what she came for. Supermarkets in the 50s were built to wander you past temptation. The list was armor against it. You walked in with a plan and out with exactly it. The list shopped. You only carried it. Number 12, generic and store brand. The same thing in a plainer box. The store brand aspirin, flour, and bleach came off the same lines as the name brands for half the price. A senior who bought plain saved $30 on a $100 run. For decades, pride kept people buying the name. The Depression generation had no such pride left. They paid for the contents, never the packaging. The fancy box was a tax on vanity. They refused to pay it. Number 11, the off-season buy. The coat bought in April. You bought the winter coat in spring, the fan in fall, the cards the day after Christmas. Everything cost half once the season had passed. A senior who bought a year ahead paid $40 for what others paid $80 for in a panic. Farm families had always bought against the calendar, never the moment. Patience was the one thing a person with time could afford. She was never caught buying in season. She bought when the store was begging to sell. Number 10, cut the cord. Bills that quietly ate the check. She went through every monthly charge and cut what she did not truly use. The cable down to nothing, the magazine never read, the service that auto-renewed in the dark. A senior alone found $40 a month bleeding out for things she had forgotten she paid for. Each felt small. Together, they were the heating bill. The old rule was simple: pay for nothing you do not use. She did not deprive herself. She stopped paying for what she had quit using. Number 9, the walk. The errand the car never had to run. For anything close, you walked and saved the gas, the wear, and the trip to the pump. A senior who walked the short errands saved a tank a month, near $30, and the walking kept body and mind moving. The car sat for what truly needed it. Before 2 cars sat in every drive, a town was built to be walked. The walk was savings and medicine at once. The car cost money to start. The walk paid you to take it. Researchers studying Depression-era households kept finding something that did not fit the story. They expected seniors on small fixed incomes to be drowning, anxious, in debt, falling behind. Instead, the ones raised on the old habits told a different story. Lower debt, steadier savings, less money stress than people half their age earning twice as much. envelope budgeting, the 2-day rule, use it up. The behaviors the modern world threw out as primitive kept testing as the healthiest ones measured. The conclusion was uncomfortable. The old way was not behind. It was simply correct, and we could not admit it. Number 8, the coin jar. The childish habit that was never childish. Every coin that came home went into a jar by the door. Nickels, dimes, the pennies everyone else left on counters. By year's end, the jar held $60, $80, $100 a senior never missed. A retired banker admitted in 2018 he had done it his whole life. People felt foolish saving change. The Depression generation never did. They knew a dollar was only 100 of them. The jar was not a child's game. It was a savings account that took no deposit slip. Number 7, tap water over everything. The drink that came free from the wall. No soda, no bottled water, no store drinks. A pitcher in the icebox and a glass from the tap. A senior who drank water saved $20 a month and a cabinet of clutter. Until the 70s, paying for a bottle of water would have sounded like a joke. The body wanted water anyway. The store only wanted you to pay for it. She drank what was already plumbed into the house. The wall never sent a bill. Number 6, the neighbor trade. The economy that used no cash. You traded what you had for what you needed. A pie for a ride to the doctor. Mending for a fixed gutter. Tomatoes for a neighbor's eggs. A ride alone cost $10 she never had to spend. No money changed hands, so no money left. In tight neighborhoods, barter ran beneath the dollar for generations. What you could do was worth as much as what you had. They did not buy help. They traded for it and kept cash for the bills only cash could pay. Number 5, the open hand. Giving freely while spending little. For all the thrift, she gave. A few dollars to the church. A casserole to the sick neighbor. A 10 in every grandchild's card. Saving was never the same as hoarding. A senior who spent almost nothing on herself still gave something away first. Tithing came before comfort in those households, always. The tight fist was for the store, never the people. She had little and gave from it anyway. Careful with things, open with everyone. Number 4, the account book. Every cent written down by hand. A ledger sat in the kitchen drawer. Every dollar in and out was entered the day it moved. You rounded income down and spending up, so the truth was always honest. A senior who let $5 a week slip untracked lost $260 in a year. A dollar you cannot account for is a dollar already lost, and she lost none. Long before any app, the kitchen ledger ran the whole house. The book never flattered her. That was exactly why it worked. Number 3, pay yourself first. The rule enforced above all others, before the rent, before the groceries, before the electric bill. The first thing you did on payday was set money aside, even a single dollar, so long as it came first. Bank tellers in the 50s watched these savers open accounts a quarter at a time. This rule kept more seniors living alone out of debt than any program this country built. The amount was never the point. The order was everything. You paid the future first, and the future paid you back. Number 2, want less. Spending less because more was never the goal. No new gadgets, no keeping up with anyone, no catalog she let herself open. A senior who wanted little needed little. The average household spent $400 a year on things she simply never bought. Born before the credit card, she never learned the wanting that came with it. It was not deprivation. It was a wall against the whole machine built to part a person from their money. She did not fight temptation. She removed it. Spend less than you earn and owe no one. That is the whole list. No system, no envelope, no trick. Just the plain, unfashionable discipline of living on less than came in. Every week, every month. For years, a widow on $500 a month lived on $400 and kept the rest. No card, no payment plan. The amount she earned was never the point. The amount she kept was everything. A person who owes nothing answers to no one. That was the rule beneath every other rule on this list. None of these tricks needed a degree, a bank, or a credit score. They needed attention. They needed the willingness to look at money honestly, with no shame and no fantasy. The generation that lived alone on almost nothing understood something the rest of us have spent a lifetime trying to forget. That comfort is not the same as security. That convenience is not the same as freedom. That a person who can buy anything but has nothing set aside is not safe. They are one bad month from losing it all. These were not the habits of the poor. They were the habits of the unbreakable. A widow alone in a half-heated kitchen, with her envelopes and her ledger and her jar of coins, was more free than a household drowning in everything it financed. She answered to no one. She feared no envelope but her own. And when the surprise bill came, as it always does, she met it standing up. The world moved on and called her ways forgotten. It buried them. But buried is not the same as gone. Dig them back up. Use them before it's too late.